Lately, there have been a series of political crises brought on by Israel's ultra-Orthodox parties, and ILTV's Steve Leibowitz sat down with political expert Mitchell Barak to find out why.
Last Shabbat, there was work that was done in Tel Aviv on the light rail, causing all sorts of political noise, ramifications. Is this possibly the beginning of a major coalition crisis?
No, I think what we see with the Shabbat work being done is a lot of posturing and a lot of standing up for principles and rights and so forth. We have these problems and debates all the time. The religious parties step in. They don't want to be necessarily a part of the desecration of Shabbat and working on Shabbat, but they very well know that that's how you have to get things done sometimes. That's the safest way to do it, and there may be ways to do it. You'll remember a number of years ago, I believe it was Netanyahu's first term, the turbine that was moved from the port to Haifa to wherever it was going, and it almost brought down the government. And in the end, the turbine moved on Shabbat. They found a way to do it. They found a way to use other people, because you can't close down the country and close down the highways and the railroads because you have to do work. And it's sometimes the safest way to do it. It's a lot of political posturing.
You know, Minister Katz, some would say, is among the most effective ministers. He's been a very good transport minister, gets things accomplished. He also is not known for wanting to offend religious sensitivities. So what led to this?
I think it was, as you said, it's an efficiency issue. This is the best way to construct. He's responsible. He's taken a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, Minister Katz, as transportation minister. He's building railways and bridges and tunnels and a light rail and all sorts of things that require a lot of complex logistics and a lot of complex work. And you have to find the best way to do that. And sometimes the best way to do that is to actually do the work and do it on schedule. I mean, you know, if the sites would shut down for Shabbat, it might take another 4 years to do, or 5 years to do. That's not what the people want, and there are ways to do it. The country in general doesn't shut down. The airport doesn't shut down on Shabbat. So they've found ways to do it and to work out compromises and so forth. And Minister Katz is an effective minister who sees himself as an heir of Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's someone that could replace Netanyahu. He's someone that has experience in the cabinet, has experience actually doing things. He's very popular within the Likud. I think he went head-to-head with the Prime Minister last week and was taught a lesson that you don't go head-to-head with the Prime Minister in the Central Committee, but he certainly has a lot to offer.
There's been an old debate about Shabbat relating to public transportation, because a lot of people who are not well off, don't have cars, have no way to get around on Shabbat, on Saturday, which is their only day off. Is this a very big issue as far as you're concerned among the voting public?
Well, it is a big issue because there are people that want to keep the sanctity and the feel of Shabbat, and there are people that feel that they're trapped inside their homes, that there's no entertainment. But just where this interview is taking place in Jerusalem, Jerusalem has changed over the past years dramatically to the benefit of those that don't keep Shabbat. We have a movie theater that just opened just a few kilometers away from here, the Yes Planet, which is running movies and entertainment and concerts on Friday night and on Shabbat. And 10 years ago, that wouldn't have even been heard of. No one could have even imagined that that would open and that would happen. You have the First Station, which is totally open on Shabbat. So there is a lot more things happening, a lot more activities and ways to do it. The problem is still going to be, how do you get there? For people that have cars, it's great. For people that don't, there's no real public transportation. Some of them have been taking the Arab bus lines in the city. Jerusalem is a city that has Aide bus for Jews and Arabs, and an Arab bus line that serves some of the Israeli Arabs, or to take taxi cabs, which is not the best thing to provide the citizens. It depends on the city. Some cities have public transportation, most don't. It's a status quo issue.
But how big an issue is it for voters? The majority of the people in this country are secular people. One would assume that that majority would prefer to have some, at least basic, public transportation to get them to places like the beach. And yet we see that the ultra-Orthodox are managing to prevent that from ever happening.
Right. Well, if a lot of those secular people didn't have cars, then it would be a real issue. But most of them do have cars thanks to leasing companies, thanks to their places of work which are providing cars, and thanks to their personal finances and the bank loans that they have to pay for the cars. So people can get where they want to go for the most part. It affects a small percentage of society, but an important percentage of society. But it's not the issue that's going to stop it. I think even for the secular residents, it's more important that there are places open and there is what to do. The question of how to get there is a secondary issue, but important. But most of the people are finding ways to get there. Even if you look at Jerusalem's first station, or Yes Planet, people are finding ways to get there. It would be better if there was public transportation, but it also might not be cost effective to run any kind of public transportation, even a private public transportation, because not enough people would want to use that transportation. Either they have it or they're not going to leave their houses on Shabbat.
Mitchell Barak, thanks very much for being with us at ILTV.
Thank you.